All right, hello. Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging in Friends. We are playing Orbital Blues this afternoon, evening, nighttime. I don't know when the hell we are. As we're kind of continuing our 4-week adventure here. We had a pretty raucous end to our last session. I think we're going to have a smoother start to this session. And then I think Ashley said we're just going to review Noodles all for 2 hours. That's what it's going to be. As we're going to have a small couple daytime jump and we'll kind of dive in. But if you're unfamiliar with Orbital Blues, this is it right here. My little book with you can see my very professionally looking torn up little, what are these things called? Post-it notes. But yeah, you can go. Melissa's dropping some links in the chat. This is basically like Sad Space Cowboys, Cowboy Bebop, Firefly. If you're unfamiliar, it's kind of low sci-fi with kind of a westerny vibe, so space western stuff. And it's been a lot of fun so far. And ours has been very zany. I think zany would be a fair adjective. As yeah, I don't know how sad we've been, but we've been. It's been crazy.
I blame Steven.
It's true, which is why we kicked him off the show. As you can see, he is now gone. That's it. He's off, and you'll never see him again on the channel. So there you go. He's out.
See, now you have brought the sadness.
Everybody made it.
Yeah, for Stephen in the chat. No, Stephen will be back next week, and yeah, he'll be back for next week, and he'll be back in Mothership as well. I think he'll be back from Mothership too. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see. Other things. Oh, so Orbital Blues just actually released some stuff this past week. So Melissa's been dropping some affiliate links that we have, and you can also check that if you're watching this later on YouTube. But they did just drop some new stuff in the Soul Muppet store. So they got 3 new adventures that are up. So if you decide to go purchase them, use that little affiliate link for us. It's All That Glitters, Jumpgate, Charade, and Electric Sheep Shuffle. All 3 of those are up. That's not what we're playing today, but I am going to be getting all of those. So definitely encourage everyone to get those. They look pretty fun. Anything else? Any business? Ready to just dive in?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll do introductions in a minute, as we'll do it kind of in sort of in scene. So I'm going to start instead with the summary, and then we'll talk about your credit debit system. Or debt systems. I keep saying debit. Credit debt system. And we'll see where everyone's at. So, first 2 sessions, you all have been spending time on a Moon Harlan 5, and you've been dealing with the Bennett family. Now, the last session, the crew was basically split in three different parties, because that's fun. And it wasn't long before things basically went pretty wild as you were wayside on Harlan 5 at Edgar Bennett's, who's like the son of a crime family, Bennett's being one of the major crime families out here in the Rim where we're playing. And you all decided to head out there and see if you could capture them, like kind of trade up. So inside the building, Nikki Callum knocked on the door. Nikki had this insurance adjuster charade he was trying to play, and he kept doing it, even though, boy, that cat came out of the bag so fast, but he kept committing to it. Callum was identified by, a Brendan McGregor, kind of an old irritant that Freddie maimed, I think, during Freddie and Callum's time within the McGregor clan, also one of the major families out here in the Rim. And Brendan kept trying to convince Edgar to kill Callum and Nikki, but Edgar wasn't really listening to it, actually, because Edgar actually wanted to offer you guys a job. He wanted some people on the outside to do a job for him. Specifically, he wanted you to kill his sister-in-law, a woman by the name of Betty Dubois, who he blamed for the death of his brother, that most people think was just like an assassination by one of the other major families. But no, he said it was his sister-in-law. Nikki and Callum, you were stalling. Freddie and Gwen were outside trying to break into Edgar's ship, the Rhinestone Cowboy. You got into a fight with one of the security guys, took care of him pretty well. And when you broke inside the ship, Freddie ran into some trouble trying to disable a android chauffeur who shocked both her arms, making them noodle and nummy. And then when Gwen came to check on her, initiated some emergency protocols, put up some sort of bulkhead door, and then unleash sleeping gas onto the bridge. I think Freddy just keeled right over and face planted, whereas Gwen, you managed to kind of persevere, and you used this like little spike chip that Elvis had given you to essentially reboot the system and stop that gas venting. Meanwhile, Elvis was listening on open comms back on the Belafonte on your own ship a couple miles away, had Walter with him as well, and concocted this plan to use the Belafonte as a distraction. And so flew the ship over towards Edgar's home, kind of partially tapped the ceiling, like the roof. And what that effectively made happen is that the whole house just started to fracture and crumble. And if that wasn't enough, Walter was on the Gatling gun, and he was firing that Gatling gun at basically everything all over the place. So he's taking out windows and walls. He destroyed the glass pen where Edgar Bennett kept his notorious pigs that he used to dispose of various bodies and things. Brendan McGregor fell off a balcony, got pinned, and was then devoured by some of these pigs. Callum, I think you took out one of Edgar Bennett's guards with like the ceiling at one point, and then Edgar almost got away if it wasn't for Elvis and Walter just unloaded the Gatling gun on him, killing Edgar, destroying all his motorcycles. And so then you all went and you retrieved the body, you ditched the Rhinestone Cowboy somewhere off in the waste, and then you headed up into Atmo and you left. So we're going to pick up 72 hours later, as you are heading to a place called Cisco Station, which is the nearest station or hub for Isheron Corp, which is the company that actually had this corporate bounty. If you recall, there was an incident where some Isheron executives were, like basically an Isheron shuttle was stolen, and some executives were not killed, but they were maimed, and they thought it was Walter initially, but it turned out to be Edgar. And so you're heading out to kind of get that corporate bounty. So one of the things that there is in this system is there's a debt credit system. And you do this at the end of every session, but we didn't really talk about it. And basically it's just a way of abstracting like how much have you brought in and how much are you having to spend on just like kind of upkeep and repair. So depending on whether or not you are in the positive or the negative determines whether or not you get like extra bonuses or new projects or something like that. So you all, we figured out, we sort of talked it out ahead of time. Ship repairs, some minor damage probably to the belly of the hull and some of the landing struts, but nothing that's irreparable or nothing that's going to endanger you all when you're flying. You have to reload your Gatling gun as your ammo. Walter was very indiscriminate about what he shot, despite very clear instructions. And then also medical attention for a couple of the crew members. Freddie's arms weren't working for a while. She has electrical burns. Callum got shot and stabbed. Gwen, I think, also got shot at one point by...
No, she got repeatedly smashed against like the side of the ship.
That's right. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay. So ultimately you ended up with a debt of -5. But credit-wise, because you went for Edgar Bennett and not just settled on Walter, you actually got a +6. So you got a second in command for the Bennett family. We all know that Cass is the number 1, but he's number 2, and he's a known murderer. So I gave you a +6 for that, which means you have a credit of +1. So in the game, you get to sort of pick or roll randomly what you get for this. So I'll give you some. I'll kind of go over the options for folks who might be watching this, but like the options you get when you're in the plus, you can bank the money. So you can take your credits and turn them into savings, which you can then use for other things. You can pass your windfall onto a friend who then will owe you a favor. You can reset your ship stats to full. You can advance a crew project if you wanted to do a crew project by 1 pip on a die. You can lose an unfriendly contact, so you basically pay somebody off who's who kind of is upset with you for whatever reason, or you can pay off a loan if you had to take a loan. We don't really, since we're only doing 4 weeks, we don't really have time to do like major crew projects, but there's things that we can talk about. You can upgrade the ship, increase your stats in some way. You can obtain an asset, like a new piece of equipment, have some sort of scientific breakthrough where somebody in the crew invents something. You can upgrade a weapon. You can even do this too. So you can take like one of your own weapons and get another keyword trait added to it. But I think you all had a decision. What was the decision you all were going to do with your newfound credits and savings?
I think we were going to bank it, which would then allow us to spend it, because you can hire goons at a rate of 1 credit per goon.
Do you have a goon in mind that you wanted to hire here?
Our best pal Wally. I mean,
You guys gonna hire me? Okay.
listen, Wally, I told you, you do the gig, you get part of the profits. You're part of the crew now. I mean, sure, we didn't make a lot of money on this particular job, but you're not going to jail, and you're making, a little bit of scratch.
Okay, so there's 6 of us, right? So I get 1/6 of everything. Is that
1/6 of all the profit? Because first we got to take care of the ship, medical expenses. We got to rebuy all the ammunition that you used when I said, just shoot here, 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 and then you shot everything. Ammo's expensive,
Yeah.
but after that,
My hands were slippery. They were wet. Sorry.
I know. Hey,
We'll have
Wally.
buttered popcorn.
Yeah, that was my bad. I mean, but the butter popcorn was very tasty, wasn't Wally? I mean,
It was.
I know
It was
how to
really
make
good. It was.
You gotta.
Was
Air
it
pump.
butter that made them wet, or was it something else, Walter? I mean, come on.
Listen, somebody left the cream soda in the Gatling gun place, and so it was just spilt all over the place. It wasn't me. I think it was Nikki. That's what I heard. That's the rumor
Yeah.
around the ship.
Nikki does tend to leave his cream sodas everywhere.
And I did
And his
hear that
noodle cups.
he also used that cream soda bottle for other things. I don't know, Nikki.
Yeah, I think it was for tuna.
That's right.
Tuna.
And of course, we got the little
Oh,
pigs
yeah.
now, so we're. I'm not saying we're going into the pork business, but they're cute little guys. Them and the
Right,
squirrels are
covered Marv's ears as he says that.
Yeah, Walter is very, very skittish around the pigs. Yeah, I've seen what they do when they grow up. I don't want to, nature over nurture or something. I don't know, but boy, I'll tell you.
Wally, here's what I gotta tell you. When you're in your bunk, just cuddle with all the little piglets, because then they'll love you, and then they won't eat you.
Okay. Yeah. If I get in good when they're young, they won't come and try to eat me or my friend. They actually they did eat a friend of mine's foot. Well, I wouldn't say it was a friend of mine. I mean, we hunted him down once because he owed the Bennett's money, and Edgar got kind of upset, just took his foot right off and just tossed it into the pigs. But I got to know the guy really well. He was a really nice fella. He was a baker. He used to bake goods and stuff down in Agnesi Market, and he always used to give me a nice fresh roll in the morning. Got my coffee, got fresh roll. It's really nice. It's really nice, and he even did it after he lost his foot too. Yeah.
Well, that's dedication to your craft there, because personally,
I'm
if
a
it had
people
been me,
person.
Wally, I can see that clearly.
Yeah. All right. So what we're going to do as we introduce, we'll do this kind of like a quasi introduce your character, but also like a little mini downtime moment, is you guys are in Cisco Station 72 hours later. 72 hours passed. You've spent some time patching yourselves up. Your ship is getting patched up. Cisco Station is kind of known for a few different things. Has very excellent mechanics, and it's not too far away. It's just a couple, probably about day and a half away, just by kind of from where you were coming from in Harlan 5, and you've spent a little time here kind of getting yourselves patched up. It doesn't have the greatest of medics or doctors. Some of it's automated and it ain't the greatest, but you are nonetheless getting patched up. But you also have a little left over kind of to celebrate here and there. So what I guess I would want is, as we go through and start this off, just tell us what your character has been doing. Introduce your character. Tell us what they've been doing with their downtime, and while your ship's getting repaired. Cisco Station isn't a very big station. It's mainly catering to ice ring miners and these long haul roughnecks and such. But there is this central promenade. It's got food. It's got drinks. So it's got a couple of restaurants, gambling. There's consignment shops and stuff like that. And it's all kind of under the auspices of Isheron Corps. There is a corporate security force here, but it's not a very big one. There's maybe about 20 folks who work here regularly, and everyone else is sort of transient coming and going. There's some dormitories that you probably are shacking up in here and there. It's a little bit more comfortable than the ship. So yeah, why don't we kind of just go around, say what you're doing on the ship. What would you be doing in your downtime? Presume we've already turned in Edgar Bennett. with the Edgar Bennett bounty. You got your money, and yeah, what are we doing?
Well, you see here, Elvis. That's me. Some have called me a crook, but really, I'm a security expert. That's what I do. Now, I may have spent a little bit of time in jail. But sometimes I went in just because I was bored. You know, I'd get busted for something just so I could break out. And there was this one time I was sitting in this jail, and it was a tiny little county jail. And basically, I was there to time myself how long it was going to take me to break out of this jail. Because I thought 11 minutes. That was my guess. 11 minutes after I'm in the holding cell, I'm back out on the street. However, I get in there, and there's this fella in there. He's an old timer miner, and I mean, I never met the guy before, but he was beaten black and blue. And I said to him, "You getting a big fight to get thrown in the tank or something?" He goes, "Oh no." He goes, "You can't. Don't get on the bad side of the guy who's running the shop here. Is Rufus Hogg. He's a hell of an enforcer. He used to be an enforcer in one of the big prisons. You know, one of the guys that go in there with the riot shields and just beat you down. But now, you know, he got a little too fat for that gig, so now he's sitting pretty in here running this little county jail, and he just likes to come in here and beat on prisoners." And I said to myself, well, this individual, this Mr. Hogg, he needs to be given a little bit of comeuppance. So I said, you just sit tight there. We'll talk to Mr. Hogg here in a minute. Now, I'm not going to get into the details because there's some trade secrets going on here. But 14 minutes later, not too bad. I mean, I was close to my 11, but 14 minutes later, Rufus Hogg was in that cell, handcuffed, ankles to wrists, his pants down, and this old geezer was beating the crap out of him. And I say to him, now, listen, the jail's wide open. You can leave whenever you want. Beat on him for as long as you want. But I'm going to take off now. 14 minutes. Not my best time, but not bad. Here at Cisco Station, the head of their constables, he reminds me of that Rufus Hogg guy. He looks kind of like Rufus Hogg, or kind of like a hog, which kind of is why I call it Rufus Hogg. I'm not even sure that's his actual name. I know his name was Rufus, but I can't remember his last name. But this fella, he's got that kind of mean streak. You could see it in those piggy little eyes of his. So what I decided to do while I was relaxing was break into the constable's office, get into his security systems, reset his personal protocols and his biometrics, change out his identity with a known felon, and then wait to see how long it is before somebody takes up the bounty on him. I'm guessing, and I'm not going to get the bounty because that's just not right. You can't, that's just wrong. But I'm going to guess less than 24 hours because I kind of let it slip that he might be on the station. So I'm just going to sit back here in this coffee shop and have a cup of Java, and I'm going to watch until somebody comes in here and roust this guy who looks kind of like Rufus Hogg.
Go ahead and roll an observation check, by the way, Elvis, as you sneak into this constable shop, the brig basically of this station. You start getting into some of the records, messing it around. You know, there's basically the name of the actual constable is a fellow by the name of Warren Banker, and then his second in command, which everyone feels is way more reasonable. That's a woman by the name of Wilma Hopewell. Everyone kind of likes her. She seems fair. But something about Warren, him and like the head of the station kind of have they're bad attitudes. They're kind of drunkards all the time. And you can, every now and then, you know, when the roughnecks and the ice ring miners kind of get into a fight here and there, you know, Warren, he likes to get into it too. And so you'll see him kind of swinging around in ways where, like, Wilma's just trying to keep the peace. Like, so what'd you get on that observation test?
Does it relate to the security systems or security of the system or his security?
No, it's
files?
just
Okay.
it's not like a success for, like, you're gonna do what you said you did. It's just, what do you notice basically?
Okay. I got a 10.
Okay. So you notice a few things. First of all, it's a brig. It's not very big. There's a handful of cells in here. They're all kind of each individual cells, full length doors. There's like little slots you can kind of pull back and look, but everything is sort of self-contained. Every cell seems to be self-contained, and you probably concoct some sort of plan to get whoever was at the desk, kind of just keeping an eye on who's here, because there are a couple folks in the brig. You concoct some sort of plan to distract them. They wander down the hall here or there. Maybe you slip something into a cup of coffee and they kind of doze off, whatever it might be. But as you're going through, you notice, first of all, that this is the same place you came to get the bounty for Edgar. But one of the things you notice, actually, is right there on like the recent, basically quick access, recent files, what have people been looking at lately? Like, you stop dead in your tracks as you're staring at this thing, and you realize that's you. You see, like, you're going through, like, there's about 7 or 8 different files, and one of them is you. Like, you see a picture of yourself, you see, like, it's an old bounty. It's like a wanted poster, escape prisoner, interior systems. It's not anywhere around here, but you're brought up. And you also notice, I mean, no one else, you don't see, like, Freddy, you don't see Gwen or Callum, it's just you. And then you notice the second thing. You notice a face. The name doesn't match up to the face the name that you remember, right? So you look at this guy, and this is a kind of older African-American guy. He's kind of got this sort of sad-looking face, grayish hair and such. And you can see that in addition to, like, there being this old picture, you would probably remember him maybe as, like, Rocky. I think that's what you put down. It's a guy you escaped prison with. But you also see a second picture. This one's brand new. This one's recent. His hair is even more recessed than the last time. And he's also got what looks like a handful of bruises on his face here and there. And as you're going through, you realize he's in one of the brigs. He's in one of these cells here. You start going through the documents and stuff, seeing like what's happening. Apparently some of these miners out here, someone on his crew, like 3 of them just came in and just handed Rocky on over and got like a very small bounty, but a bounty nonetheless. So in one of these, we'll say half dozen cells around the brig, you know that Rocky is apparently locked up in here.
Well, I'm here to tell you, this is very disappointing news. I mean, I thought for sure Rocky understood that he had to keep himself on the out. Now, admittedly, I've got a bounty for myself in this system, so everybody, we're going to work on that one real quick here and see if we can't delete that particular bounty, at least from the station's computer systems. And then I think I got to go talk to Rocky.
Why don't we do a savvy test? Let me roll something here.
Now, since I am white-fingered when I'm dealing stat checks to deal with security systems and things like that, I get to upper hand that count here.
Oh, yeah. That would count for this, for sure.
I am going to spend 1 heart to re-roll 1 die, because that's not the greatest. That's better. 9.
Okay. So you're getting into the system. It's taking you a couple of minutes. It is a corporate system, so it's actually seems to be the whole station seems to be on much better systems than any of the places down on like Ignacy or in Harlan. Everything's got a little bit more money behind it. So it's taking you a little longer to get through it, but it's not impossible. It just kind of slows you down a bit, and you manage to scrub your own entry. But it's at that point you hear the sounds of voices that are coming from down the hall, and you recognize one of them being that Warren Banker fella. And he's like, what the hell are you talking about, Will? And he sounds very drunk and very belligerent. And you hear another woman who's just like, there's just, I don't, something really kind of strange is going on. I don't understand what's going on with our systems right now. It's like, I don't know. We're seeing glitches left and right. And then you hear these voices coming up. How do you want to try to get out of here? Because you are in this little constable area.
He walks right at him.
Okay, just walk right to them. You walk right out the door, right to them, and the drunk guy. He's kind of, you can tell, you can smell the booze on him. This is the head of security. He's like, "Who the hell are you?"
I'm a bounty hunter. We just turned in that Edgar Bennett bounty, and you just popped here, Jethro Lipowitz. I don't know what you're calling yourself right now, but there's a hot bounty on you. You care to explain why your biometrics are popping on the bounty board?
Yeah.
Mr. Lipowitz?
Lepowitz, that ain't my name. What's going on with this guy here? I don't even know.
Lots of people on the frontier change their names, but, ma'am, you're second in charge. Please check his biometrics against the bounty there.
As I was saying to you before, Warren, something's going on with our systems. I'm not sure.
Are you sure he's a Warren?
I know.
Could be a
I've known him for
Lipowitz.
15 years, unfortunately. He's not a Leibowitz or Lipowitz or whatever.
Could be an older bounty.
I was the one who gave them I recognize him, this man here. He's right. He brought the Edgar Bennett. You can go ahead and go. I'll take care of it. Come on, Warren. He's like, no, I want to see something. Like, Warren, so she's like trying to calm down. She's like giving you the get the hell out of here motion with her head. Go.
Well, all right, but you should get this cleared up because I'm a very friendly bounty hunter. There are going to be some people that just taking pot shots at you because it's a live or dead bounty.
Thank you for that advice. We definitely appreciate it, and we appreciate what you've done for the Harlan area out here. We thank you.
You got a lovely station here, by the way. And you know the coffee at the Java Hut there across the way, top notch. Some of the best coffee I've had this far out in the frontier. Now you Lipowitz, you got to stay out of trouble the other day. But all right, I'll see you later.
He's trying to start something, and then you start walking away. Like Wilma's just like this is trying to hold up and like kind of keep him from getting any further. But eventually, you separate. You hear them. He's cussing up a storm. You hear the doors open up to the constable office, and suddenly their voices become muted. Okay, who's doing something next? So that's what Elvis has been kind of doing for the last 24 hours or so. What is everyone else doing on this station?
So Freddie, there's a couple things that I want to do with Freddie. So she's gonna rest up, obviously, kind of get some medical attention, and if one of the first things she wants to do is find something that she can do that's kind of like dexterity. Like it is very, very, very distressing for her that she was like losing like sensation and movement in her arms, and so she wants to find something that she can do. I don't know if there would be some kind of like even like an arcade-ish kind of a thing, or just something where she can be just kind of making sure that all of her fingers work as they should.
The main hangout point in the promenade of this place of Cisco Station is a place called the Barrel House. And it's essentially like a small casino bar, but there's also like slot machines, darts, stuff like that. There's a couple dice games, stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah, darts sounds great.
All right. So you head on in there, and you can see Nicky is sitting over at one of the card tables. He's got, he's stuffing his face full of noodles. He sees you come in and kind of, and then kind of goes back to playing cards here and there. You can tell he's been kind of getting into it a little bit with some of the people, but you kind of let bygones and you just kind of move on. It's as you're looking around, you can tell that there is a stage that could be for live music, but you don't see anyone up there right now. You do see off to the side, there is like this jukebox setup, but also what looks like an organ. And in between the two, there's this android pianist that kind of shifts back and forth between the two. And right now, it's just kind of playing songs and stuff. But every now and then while you're in here, you'll see like someone come up and request, and you'll just hear it kind of shift and start playing around on some kind of piano solo, playing a song that it's more of a cover song type of deal. The whole place is run by a woman by the name of Polly. She's got these big old curly blonde hair and kind of indeterminate age. You can tell that she's definitely got a lot of makeup on. She's definitely kind of covering herself up here and there, but she seems more or less pretty friendly, and everyone kind of likes her. And anytime any of like the roughnecks or stuff kind of get out of lounge, she quickly kind of snaps really fast. The android pianist just sort of stops doing whatever it is they're doing. Music stops, and all of a sudden it's time to kind of quiet down. So while you're in here, like more than once, a little fight almost breaks out, but it's quickly nipped in the bud.
Okay.
So you go over to the dart, sort of like there's sort of darts and billiards and things like that in the corner. And you can see there's people that are playing. Some people are hustling. Some people are playing for money, for drinks. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I will try to join one of the money games.
Okay, sure. So yeah, you want to, so dart specifically, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. You kind of watch for a bit, and you can tell that there's this one guy who kind of seems to be raking it in. He kind of comes up. They're playing little games of cricket. And at one point, one of those fights almost breaks out because he just keeps winning. He keeps winning. He keeps winning. And people call him Joey Sands. Everyone kind of calls him Joey Sands with the quick hands. And at a certain point, he's just beat everybody. And he's like, hey, no one else wants to take on Joey. That's it. No one else. That's it. I thought, wait, come on, Frankie. Come on, Frankie. Come on. Come on. And like Frankie just like walks out and just like, no. So
yeah.
like,
why don't you give all of them a rest? I'll take a turn.
oh, okay. New challenger arrives. New challenger. All right. Come on up. I'll gladly take your money. This ain't for free, of course.
Name's Freddie. Nice to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you too, Freddie. Joey Sands, faster hands.
We'll see.
Okay. Hey, I like the confidence. That's good. You ever played darts before? You know how to play?
Yes, I do.
You sure? You want me to tell? I can go over the rules if you want.
No.
Very
I
condescending.
don't need to explain it to me. I know what it is.
Okay. Shoot for the bull. Closest goes first. Is that what you want to do?
I said, yeah, that works.
Okay, no offense. Yeah, I'm not trying to get you all upset. Okay, so we'll do this. We'll do a savvy test. Let's do savvy, contested, whoever gets better. Kind of go from there. Do you have anything that can help you here? Any gambits or anything?
No,
you could think of?
mine has to do with observation checks. So I have upper hand on all observation checks, but that doesn't really seem to be.
Yeah, probably not.
No.
Yeah, it's more dexes. Okay. All right, go ahead.
Sorry, did you say I'm just rolling savvy, right?
Yeah, it's just roll savvy. Yeah, contested. See who gets the higher.
7.
Got an 8. So he starts. You kind of go through the first round, and by the end, it's a close game. You can tell a few times. He kind of looks over. You can tell he kind of has a look of concern. You get really close to kind of closing out towards the end, but you just missed the bull. And he's like, that's a shame. That's a shame there, Freddie. You were really close. Closer than most of these other folks. Closer than Frankie, that's for sure. And he's like, now the key to darts is concentration. And he just kind of looks at you, and he throws it blind, and it lands. Oh, look at that. Hey, double or nothing?
Yeah, I was actually, so she was throwing with her offhand, so to speak.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
you're trying to get a little one over on Joey Sands, are you?
Yeah, just, I got to get practice somehow.
Oh, is that what it is? There's a movie about that once. People switching hands here and there. Surprise, surprise. By the end of this, maybe I'll be switching hands. Who knows?
Let's see.
Okay.
8.
9. Sorry.
Damn it.
He's got +1 savvy, and I rolled a 7 +1 last time, and an 8 +1. Okay. So he's like, last one kind of goes in. And he's like, oh, well, I guess I beat you. Left-handed? Right-handed? You got a third hand? We want to try that one?
No, that's, I just wanted to, see how I was, doing.
Sure.
One more for the road?
One more. Huh? Well, all right. Triple or nothing? Okay. I feel kind of bad taking money from
No,
you,
you don't.
but
No, you don't.
yeah, you're right. I don't. You're very
I
right.
know.
When you're right, you're right.
10.
7 this time, actually.
All right.
Describe how it goes for you.
It's just she kind of tries to take the upper hand and kind of the dialogue, because that kind of seems to be his thing of just kind of get people on tilt a little bit. And so she just kind of tries to up her chatting a little bit and just kind of give him a wink and just give it a throw.
Okay, all right. You could tell he's kind of annoyed, but he's trying to play it cool. Like, okay, all right. I gave you two chances. Maybe you give me a chance to win my money back too. Buy you a drink, maybe.
I came here with a purpose. Think I accomplished that purpose. I feel like some of the other
I
folks
see how
around
it
here
is.
probably,
I
do
see
for
how
another
it
round.
is. Okay. You take my money, and I don't get a chance to win it back, but I take your money. Oh, I give you 3 chances. Oh, I get it. I see how you play, Freddie. I see how you play. You're going to get a reputation. You play like that. And before it kind of
Yes.
goes any further, you hear like all of the music just stop, and you hear a fight kind of break out, and you look behind you, and you see sprawled across the blackjack table, there's Nikki, and there's a fellow right on top, just kind of punching him and punching him, and you can kind of piece together what happened because you see all of these noodles in the guy's hair just sort of dripping down, and he's just like, "I no cheat, you're the cheat," and then Miss Polly, you hear a whistle, and all of a sudden you see a couple folks in like Isharan, security garb come in. You see this bald-headed woman. That's Wilma Hopewell. She's got a very tightly shaved head. She kind of comes in, and like there's like a scuffle, and like Nikki is getting dragged off. This other guy's getting dragged off, and like Nikki's like bleeding. He's like cackling. He's like, someone, Freddie, get my winnings. Freddie, get my winnings. And then he disappears.
Mr. Sands, I really do need to call this here. I'm gonna need to attend to my associate over there. It was nice doing business with you, and maybe we'll come across each other again before I head out.
Sure. Joey's gonna remember this, just so you know. Ain't good not to give people a chance to get their money back.
I didn't say I wouldn't before I left. Just I gotta go to attend to that one over there.
You don't give them a chance to get the money back. That means they got to find a different way to get it back. You might not like the way that Joey tries to find it next time. That ain't a threat, though. That's just, friendly conversation.
Friendly conversation, of course. And Freddie walks away and grabs anything that Nikki might have left.
All right, fair enough. Callum or Gwen, what are you two doing?
Gwen's at like the nearest bar, actually, and
Probably the same place. There's really just the Barrel House.
Yeah.
It's like kind of the main hangout. Yeah.
so she's just drinking up at the bar, and she sees all this. She's kind of eavesdropping, really, to see what people are talking about.
Okay.
And she's listening in particular for any news about a Johnny O'Connor.
Okay. There are some screens on here and there. You can really only hear it if you're nice and close to the bar, because most people are, it's not a big crowd. There's maybe 20 people or so in here, plus a couple servers, bartender, that kind of thing. And the music does kind of go on, and every now and then you hear a shouting match. But no, there's no specific things that you're getting. Most of it is kind of that's on these monitors, and on this just the band is. It comes across like corporate news, so it's kind of talking about Isharan stuff, things like that.
Yeah.
Job opportunities here, investment opportunities there, acquisitions here. Very tightly confined. It's not like there's a public broadcasting channel here.
Yeah.
It's all sponsored content from Isharan, and none of that sponsored content seems to come up with anything involving Johnny O'Connor. Unfortunately,
Is there anything involving Rook and corporations?
High or low?
High.
No, nothing comes up actually.
Okay, good.
Nothing comes up. Okay, all right. But you're
And then-
drinking. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
drinking there. Okay.
He's drinking, and if anybody's doing like arm wrestling, she will join.
I don't think there's like an arm wrestling station.
Yeah.
But if you want to try to pick an arm wrestling fight with someone, that's I guess that's fine.
Yeah, I think she would, because she's a little tense. So
Okay.
she'll find some guy at the bar counter who's pretty big, and
Okay.
I don't think you could beat me. You look like a man who couldn't beat a woman in an arm wrestling competition. Do you want to fight? And she just puts her arm down on the counter and holds it up.
And so, guy turns towards you, and you realize now that he's kind of dressed in like Isharan gear. He's kind of drunk. You can smell just stuff coming off him. He's got a little name tag. It says Constable Banker, which I realize is really a funny thing now. It's the same guy we saw in Elvis thing, and this is a big guy. He's probably in his 50s or so. He's got He's got some big forearms doing like, what are you trying to pick a fight? You know who I am? You know who I am?
I'm looking to arm wrestle.
Arm wrestle?
Yeah.
Arm wrestle is a casino. What are you doing arm wrestling folk here? Go roll some dice or throw some darts or...
You just look like you can't beat me, and I figured I'd see.
Roll a savvy test. See if you can get under his skin enough. Don't get under it too good, because then you're going in the brig.
I got an 8.
Okay. All right, little lady. You want me to beat you? I'll beat you. It's fine, but you're picking the tab up when I do.
And if I win,
I don't drag you into the brig for unsanctioned gambling.
And a drink and friendly conversation.
I can give you the drink. I can give you a conversation, but I can't promise it's gonna be friendly.
That's fair. And then she throws her arm up there.
All right. So I'm gonna roll against the odds with him because he is definitely drunk. Though then again, that could also be upper hand. No, it's not a fight. It's just pure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's just arm
So I'm
wrestling.
gonna roll against the odds. He does have +2 to muscle though. So roll your muscle to contested. Oh, jeez, that's terrible.
I got a 12.
Okay, he got a 6. So describe what happens.
So, Gwen is doing that whole thing where she's just holding him, and it's her arm's not moving, and you're watching as he's trying harder and harder to get her hand to hit the countertop, and his face is turning red, and then she waits until he looks like he's trying his real hard, and then she just slams it on the counter.
Kind of looks up at you, looks at his hand, looks like he's going, oh, yeah, you're going to pay for that. He kind of starts getting up and stumbles around a bit, but the power kind of flickers here and there, gets kind of dark, and the sounds kind of go off. Miss Polly's like, she suddenly takes this little this switch she has, and she slaps it down right there on the bar right in front of you, and she says, "Warren, no harass my customers. She beat you fair and square. I was watching."
Oh, thank you, Miss Polly.
And she turns to you. She says, "You don't go gambling in my establishment without I getting a cut. Now cut me in."
He promised a drink. Would you like the drink?
It's my own. Ugh. All right. She holds the switch up at your face. Okay. You get one. You get just one.
Got it. Thank you.
All right. And she kind of gives you a wink, and she pulls out, waits for Warren to get out of the way. Warren kind of wanders off, and then she kind of puts the drinks on the table. "I'm sorry, sweetheart. You got to be tough around him. You start acting nice and all that stuff, he gets the wrong idea. Here you go. And don't go poking that bear. He'll throw you out in airlock."
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Yeah, next time you see him, you might want to lose to him about 4 or 5 times.
Okay, fair. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then we'll go to Callum. Callum, what have you been doing this whole time?
Callum's done a couple of things. First one would be writing a message to Brendan's grandparents.
Okay.
Married and Moira, telling them that Una and he are having a lovely time. They're missing working, back at the estate. And we did see Brendan. Didn't end up well. Nothing to do with us. Didn't touch him. Una wasn't even there.
Okay.
Really sorry, but get eaten by pigs. End off with, hope to see you soon. Love. Bye. And then he's been taking one of these pigs, one of the piglets, and trying to train it.
All
He
right.
calls it Maravig Ferrig, which is squirrel killer. And no matter what he does, he has tried and tried. And this little pig, who is absolutely adorable, will not do what he wants. He just plays with the squirrel.
With Fortuna? With Nikki's Fortuna? Okay.
Yeah, with Fortuna.
Fortuna rides it like a horse.
Yeah, exactly. And the pig just fucking loves it. And seriously, the Fortuna's just always eyeing Callum as taking the piss. And Callum's too injured to do anything about it.
right.
and loves Marv too much to let Marv do anything to them. And other than that, yeah, he wants to heal up, so then takes walks around the station.
Yeah, there's sick bay. So we'll say, Callum, you probably took the worst of, I think, anyone. So yeah, we'll say you go into the sick bay. There is a doctor in there. You can see there's also a bunch of these android, like, kind of nurse things that are just sort of there to kind of auto stitch, but you know from probably experience that they're not the most accurate with their stitching, and they don't really care about whether or not it hurts. But you can see there's a Dr. Levi there, and she kind of comes over. She kind of takes a look at some of your wounds. She sees the bullets. She sees the stitches and stuff like that, and she's like, "All right, take a seat." She takes a big big drag of smoke. It's gonna be a while. Puts it out in the ashtray. It's very smoky inside here. And she wheels across the room on top of this kind of old cushiony like stool with wheels. It's got like a kind of brown ripped leather. She kind of just starts stitching away. I'm not gonna ask you how you got these, and I don't want you telling me.
Kid's birthday party.
What did I just tell you? I just said, don't.
I started speaking before you finished. I'm sorry.
Kid's birthday. That's a good one. That is pretty funny. Yeah, I don't think...
Wasn't at the time.
Parent or kid who shot you?
Kid.
Yeah,
couldn't take losing. Wee bastard.
And she's just kind of chuckling the whole time. You see, she kind of holds the thread like where she's stitching you, and she just pulls out with this one hand, kind of puts 2 cigarettes in her mouth, just lights them both up, and she hands one over to you.
I'm all right, thanks.
Okay. She puts it back in her mouth, and she starts smoking 2 at the same time. And then you notice, Callum, the lights kind of just flicker, and they just go out. Now, suddenly, on the entire sick bay, there's no lights. Everything's dark. Freddy, Gwen, 2 of you are in the barrel house. So the lights just suddenly go off. The sounds of the jukebox becomes dead silent in there. You see a couple of emergency lights start popping up all around within the barrel house and within the greater promenade. Where would Elvis be at this point, you think, Aaron? This is probably maybe an hour or so after you had your encounter by the
Elvis would probably be up in the ceiling trying to find the main data line for the station so he can slice into it and put in transfer orders for Rocky.
Okay.
And payment thereof. That's his plan. He wants to get paid to free Rocky and get him on the ship.
So devious. So you're up crawling through the vents, and there's like a hum to the station. Like you're crawling through these vents, you're fine. Like, and there's a hum. And while you don't necessarily have lights in here other than what you brought yourself, and so you kind of got your own little flashlight or whatever it is, you're crawling around here and there. There is kind of like a vibration and a hum to the whole station that suddenly, as you're climbing through, you're kind of going through these different junction boxes. Like that's not it. All of a sudden, that hum just sputters, and it just goes silent. Like strangely silent inside the vent. Back in the barrel house, Gwen, Freddy, you're together. Callum, the medical bay, sick bay is close enough to it's like basically part of the big promenade, but it's not right next to the barrel house. But Gwen, Freddy, the 2 of you are here. The lights kind of come on. These emergency lights come on. Gwen, you look up and you see walking kind of into the barrel house as like people are kind of talking like, what the hell's going on? What the hell's going on? Hey, Polly, what the hell's going on? Come on now. You know, everyone's kind of starting to complain here and there. You can see a couple people are moving outside, of the barrel house, and they look at the whole promenade. It's dark. And you see a couple folks here and there starting to, pop up these emergency lights. Gwen, you walk, you're like kind of looking around here, and then you just kind of finished up with your little situation with Miss Polly and with Warren, and you look up and you see, looking right at you, and you looking right back at him.
No.
Wesley Rook.
Fuck.
And he sees you.
If Freddy's right next to me, Gwen just goes, "Oh, fuck." And she's gonna run back in the kitchens and she's gonna try and get the fuck out of here.
Okay. Right as you're looking, right as you're saying, "Oh fuck," all of a sudden the emergency lights that had kicked in, those go out completely, and you no longer hear the hum of all of like the life support units. Like there's no like the fans just suddenly wind down, and everything becomes really quiet, and then people start panicking. Gwen, you're gonna try to run away. Go ahead and roll a savvy test. Roll it with against the odds.
Oh no. I rolled a 6, a 6, and a 5.
Okay, so you drop one of the 6s, but you're still fine.
11,
Yeah.
12. Yeah.
Oh yeah. All you need is an 8. So you manage to remember as best you can the way to the kitchen. Is now there is only light in here is basically people's screen lights on their little like PDAs and things like that are kind of popping up, adding some ambiance here and there. You hear Gwendolyn, girl, you better come here. We have a lot to discuss. I'm very disappointed in you. Freddy, you hear this as well. But Gwen, you make a run and you run behind the bar. There's this swing door that goes back to, the kitchens. There's food that's served here, obviously. And so you just plunge into the kitchen. You hear the sounds of dishes just falling on the ground, cascading everywhere. And you hear some, "Oh, what the hell?" As you knock somebody over, as you storm through the kitchen in the dark. There are no lights in here. Someone's trying to like get an actual flame up. You can see they're kind of holding this up. Like, what the hell's going on? And there's some food that's sizzling here, but you can tell that the fryers have kind of gone down. The oven's gone, no power whatsoever. Freddie, roll an observation test against the odds because of the darkness, but because of your thing, you get upper hand, so it'll cancel each other out. You can roll normal.
It's all in the details. That is a so observation is just straight.
Just straight.
6.
2d6. Okay. You heard Gwen say, "Oh fuck," and then all of the emergency lights went out, and then you hear a man calling out for Gwendolyn, and in like a kind of a very sort of holier than thou tone, and like you kind of reach out for Gwen, who is probably not. You probably weren't right next to each other as you were playing darts, and she was arm wrestling.
Yeah.
So, but you're close enough that you could have seen each other, and you're like. Gwen. You don't hear anything. So I'm going to say you didn't notice her run off into the kitchen. Okay.
Yep. What Freddie would want to do is she did not like the sound of that. And it's still dark in here, right?
It is, very much so.
Okay. So Freddie would basically like to, I'm assuming there's some type of chair or stool or something.
Yeah, you can easily
lines.
feel around. There's plenty of those things around. Yeah,
Okay.
That's not a problem.
So literal shot in the dark. She just wants to take this and chuck it in the direction of the voice.
Okay. So
There was a
no
voice
roll.
that way.
That's something you can easily do. This is entirely random whether you actually hit him.
Sure.
So I'll say high or low.
It can at least cause some chaos in the area that person is. High.
Okay. You hear someone scream out, "What the?" But it's not the same voice that was calling out for Gwendolyn.
I tried.
Yeah. Sorry, I rolled a 2. Okay. So, just to sort of set this up for everyone. Everyone on the station is in slightly different places. Gwen and Freddie, you're close. Callum, you're not too far away, and you probably would know where they abouts were. But all power has now gone out in the station. You can see all of the consoles and such within the sick bay have gone out. You can see you can kind of feel, the woman kind of wheeled away from you, and you can hear her kind of type in and kind of slapping her monitor and stuff. And she's like, "What? God damn, they just freaking issue encore. Always cutting the damn corner. Come on now, this is ridiculous." But it's dark in here, completely dark. And Elvis, it's been dark where you were anyway, but you can tell something just went wrong. What do you guys want to do?
Gwendolyn's going to continue to run to the ship.
Okay, I mean, you're in the kitchen, so you would have to go back out.
Oh, there's no like back way out from.
It's a
This
kitchen on
building?
a space station. It's
True. Okay.
not an
Oh,
Applebee's.
shit.
There's no back door to the
Yeah, there's no alleyway behind the kitchen. Yeah. So you could be scrambling around and looking for any way out of here, but you realize very, very quickly there are two doors. One of them goes into some kind of freezer, and the other one goes back out.
Oh shit. Okay, so she's gonna have to go out and try and sneak out.
Okay. You push the door open, and you can see that there is light. And you can see silhouettes of people moving about. There's light, but all of it is just like everyone kind of holding up their individual pans. Some people holding up lighters. You can see Miss Polly's kind of getting candles going, it looks like, as well. But not open flame candles, more like kind of these little electrical candles and things.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's definitely lights that start to show up. Roll an observation check, Gwen. You can roll it normal, I guess, because there's a little bit of light now.
8.
Okay, you can see Freddy. She's not too far from where she was before. You can see that a scuffle is kind of broken out. Someone's kind of helping somebody else up. You do see Wesley. You also see that there are a couple people surrounding him. Now you would know that Wesley doesn't go anywhere alone. So
Nope.
he's got people with him. He's got at least 3 or 4 people with him at all times, right? And so you can quickly see them. However, when you push the door open, and you're kind of looking around, all of a sudden, your eyes lock once more, and his eyes go, he just turns to the side, and he says, "Gwendolyn Lockwood, come on out of that kitchen right now. We have a lot to discuss, dearie. Come on now, let's go." And Freddy, at this point, you can kind of see the voice. You see where the voice is coming from. You didn't really give me a description of him, so I just sort of picked I'm dropping
that's perfect.
Okay. So I'm just sort of dropping pictures of folks just because I like having them, and I'm playing with Midjourney a lot lately. But you can see old Wesley Rook, but you also notice right standing next to him, there is a person you don't recognize necessarily. Like you can see he's got his normal crew of bodyguards and things all kind of dressed in this, like he makes them dress nicely, so they got suits on and ties and everything, almost like leisure suits. But then there's this other fella that's standing right next to him. He's got these kind of what almost look like night vision goggles on, and he's kind of just looking around. Freddy, Gwen, both of you can roll a savvy test. This is just pure knowledge, just to see if maybe you can recognize who this fella is.
3, 4, 5, 6. 6.
Freddy, you can do it too. Oh, did we lose Melissa? Has she been frozen like that for days? I think we
8.
lost Melissa. Oh, 8. There she is.
She is. 8.
Freddy got
Okay.
an 8.
Okay. Freddy, you recognize this fella. This is a bounty hunter. It goes by the name, his name is Clyde Drexel, but some people just call him Deadlock. Clyde Deadlock Drexel. He works alone. He is not known to be a killer necessarily, but he is definitely known to be kind of like a bloodhound. He will find anyone, and he will do anything for money. He has no qualms with doing any. He will find anyone, good reasons or bad. And you see him right next to your husband there, Gwen. You wouldn't know who the guy is right now, but you see him standing right next to the fellow that's calling out for Gwendolyn. And they're like kind of exchanging words and quiet. And right when that happens, a fellow with those goggles starts moving in the direction of Gwen, as does one of Wesley's guards, 2 of them. And they're pushing through. They're like, out of the way. Just kind of pushing people off to the side. What do the 2 of you do?
Gwendolyn's gonna quickly hop on our comms for the group.
Go to pop on your comms, and all you hear is static.
Oh my god.
Comms block.
Freddy, that's my husband. He's gonna kill me.
So Freddy, kind of going back to the first episode when we started, she's got some things that she's kind of got available to her, kind of in her pockets, kind of always at the ready. First time it was a little like pepper spray, kind of homemade pepper spray kind of a thing. This time she's going to try to go around them and kind of get in front of them between where Freddy and Gwen is. And as she does it, she just wants to basically spill a little bit of like oil on the ground to try to like hamper their ability to make a straight line from where
What kind of oil do you have? What kind of oil are you carrying
Cooking
around in
oil.
your pockets? You're carrying
just a little, just
carrying a
like not a
bottle of
ton,
cooking
not a
oil.
large quantity, but just a little bit. She kind of does her improvised like weapon.
High end
things that she's got.
truffle oil.
just truffle oil.
What a waste.
Well, we got the pigs. Get the truffle oil. This makes sense. We have themes that are starting to come together. All right. I'll tell you what. Go ahead and roll a savvy test,
Okay.
and let me know how you do.
All right. 8.
Okay. So you spread a hole, like you just right on the ground. Now it's very crowded in here. People are kind of panicking a bit as well. Like so this is not a clean situation. And so you're kind of bumping around. You're doing your best to sort of like shoulder your way in between where the bar is, like the entrance that goes around the bar, where Gwen now is as she was coming out of the kitchen. And you're trying to put yourself in between. You just sort of smother some oil on the ground. So this fella kind of moves up, guy with the goggles, Deadlock, Drexel, and one of these goons of Wesley's. Let me see how they do. Okay, you can see as the goon comes up and he's getting ready to push you out of the way. He's just like, out of the way now, out of the way. There's a rook business here. They work, and he kind of he puts his hand on your shoulder. He's about ready to push you and lean into you when he just kind of does a very comical slip and fall, like right onto the ground. However, you notice that Deadlock doesn't seem to have as much difficulty as he kind of looks down. You can see the goggles that he's wearing suddenly kind of shift that sort of reddish gaze, and he just kind of steps right over top of it and just moves past. And right now, Gwen, that Drexel fella is blocking the exit out from behind the bar into the regular area of the barrel house, and he's coming right up on you. What would you like to do? And anything you do, you're welcome to do, but just let me know.
There's not a second story in here, is there?
What do you mean second story?
Like in the building.
So it's a space station. You are in you're in a bar, not a very big
so
bar,
it's
but a
just
small
one floor.
stage. There is the promenade, which has multiple levels, but this particular bar does not. No.
She's gonna leap over the bar, like
Okay.
further away from him, and try and like run into the crowd of other people to try and get lost in the crowd.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a savvy test. We'll see how you do, and then he'll do something. We don't need to go into full.
No, 5.
Oh no. Okay. You hop
Remember,
up.
you can spend heart to re-roll a
That's
die
true.
1 for 1.
It's true. Good point. Good reminder.
And you should be full back up on heart again.
Yeah. I think I need to spend 2.
It's re-rolling both. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, 10.
10. Okay, you hop up, you get over, you bypass him entirely. Now there's basically 2 different ways in. Like, so think of it like a sort of like a diamond, and you can kind of go out either side. The back side, the top part of the diamond, we'll call the bar and the kitchen area. And then there's like the bottom part of the diamond, it's just where people are sitting, where the stage is. And then on either sides, okay, bottom right, bottom left, are their ways out. You can see over on one side, there's old Wesley. There's old, the love of your life, Wesley Rook, as I say sarcastically. I'm presuming you're going to try to run the other direction.
Yeah.
Okay, so you start heading off in that direction. Freddy, as you kind of manage to take out one of these fellas, Deadlock kind of moves past, sees Gwen hop over the bar and start running. You watch as Deadlock holds up what looks like a tranq pistol and fires. So I'm just going to give a quick roll here. Okay, 8 on the dot. So this is good. Actually, wait, I got to roll a third die, don't I? Yeah, 8 on the dot. Take 4 points of damage, Gwen, but it is a trank pistol, so this won't kill you. It'll just unconscious you if you go to 0. Hey, Pat, what's up? Thought you were running something today.
Not till later.
Okay. Right on. Okay. How you doing, Gwen?
4 out of 10.
Okay.
Heart.
Freddie, what do you want to do at this point? You've got one of these goons on the ground, covered in truffle oil. You see Gwen making a break for it, trying to get back out into the promenade. And you see she takes a shot in the back from one of these trank pistols. What do you wanna
Freddie is faster than she is strong. So Freddie wants to kind of run up next to Gwen and just try to help her with the escape and support her as needed because she just got tranked. So
the two of you then run out into the promenade. You can see there's sort of just open seating everywhere. There's like little noodle shops and coffee shops and things like that all around here. Consignment shops. Think of it like a food court in a mall. In a way, and you can see there's all this seating in between. There's people that are kind of milling about. There's no proper lights out here, no emergency lights, no regular lights, but there are some. Again, the PD8 people are holding up their own personal lights, and that's the only thing. Is you run out, you get about 10 steps outside into this general seating area, and you hear the muted sound of what you think is gunfire. And we're gonna cut over to Elvis. Elvis, you're up in one of these vents. You're well high in the promenade. The promenade specifically, so that if you want to think about how the shape of this station, think of it like a circle or the docking ring, and then in the center is the tower. And like there are all these different sort of connecting threads that go to the docking ring. And the promenade's in the bottom half of the tower. The top half of the tower is where, that's like all sorts of Isheron administration, the bridge of the station, all sorts of things like that. So you're somewhere in those levels between the promenade and that upper part of the tower. So that's where you've been hiding around. You hear the sounds of gunfire. What would you like to do?
This has got to be my lucky day. The lights go out, gunfire. I've definitely got a chance to get Rocky out of here. Let me get on the comms. I got to tell people that we're picking up a bounty, transport bounty. Hey, fellas.
Put them on, and you hear something's jamming your comms.
Well, son of a... So Elvis would try to hack into the system to see if the comms are being jammed, like basically the signal's being overwhelmed, or whether or not somebody has isolated and locked out the communications hub.
Okay, so you'll have to find a console, kind of start backtracking your way.
So he actually flicks his own glasses, and his lenses go red, and he activates his night vision scanners as well.
Nice.
He's like,
nice.
All right, okay. They want to play games. You want to play games with Elvis? We're going to play some games with you too.
Absolutely easy navigation for you as you work your way back down. You kind of hop down. You found some sort of like maintenance, some sort of maintenance area where like there are some consoles here. This is more for, not for like, that there's a whole separate group of maintenance on the docking ring, but that all has to do with like ship repair. In here, this is more kind of the offices, like generic maintenance offices for anyone who's reporting problems like in the tower. And so you hop down inside. There's no one in here. There's only there's like 2 desks in here with these nice looking computers. You go up to them. There is no power to them whatsoever. There's no power in here at all. Even more than that, when you go up to the electronic locks of the door itself is jammed to get back out towards the promenade. Everything's kind of just shut down completely. You can get back up into the vent just fine, and as you try to get into the systems, the computers themselves, no power at all.
Well, that cannot be very good for the station. That is a fact. Well, all right. I suppose I'm going to have to do this the old-fashioned way. He's going to make his way through the vents to get back so he can jump down onto the promenade and make his way back to the security office.
Okay. Climb on up. You go, again, none of this requires rolls. And you're basically using your memory to figure out exactly where is the best place to drop down. And as you're kind of climbing through those vents and you're overlooking what effectively is like a 2 to 2.5 story large open area. There's like the kind of seating area on the ground floor where the barrel house is, and a couple of these other places are. And then on the second floor, there's like a balcony that overlooks that seating area and the barrel house and all that other stuff. And there's a few other services up here as well. And you know that somewhere up there on that second level is where the security offices actually are, where the constable's offices are. You get to one of these like vent openings, and when you look out, you see that there are a group of 6 people that have moved through the second floor. There's a couple bodies on the ground, and you can see that they've got some bags. They got what looks like automatic weapons in their hand. They're all kind of communicating. It sounds like they're kind of communicating with one another, just sort of in local proximity. Someone kind of comes out. You can see one of these kind of constables comes up as you're watching through the vents, and they're like, "Hey, what seems to be going on here?" It doesn't even get through the sentence before one of them just points the Uzi in their direction, and all of a sudden he just drops and falls to the ground. What'd you like to do?
Well, I find this to be I'm a very non-violent kind of person myself. So Elvis would quietly wait up there, twiddling his thumbs, taking a look at some local sports on his net, wait till they get past.
Okay.
Like,
No.
they clearly, as long as I don't see anybody that I know, I mean, he might be trying to pay attention to who these people are, because clearly there's going to be a bounty on them at some point, but he's not going to be doing anything about it right this moment.
Observation check. Against the odds as you're trying to look through the vents, but observation check to see if you kind of identify them. And you're not getting a signal, by the way, on your there's no net. All like whatever's on your personal, like if you have something saved to your personal pad, like that's there. But like trying to get signals to anything, everything's being jammed. No signals, comms, anything.
He's irritated by this, but he's like, I do have my favorite episode of Hogan's Heroes is saved to this thing, so I'll pull that up for a while. But he got a 7 on his observation check, so he failed.
Okay, yeah, they definitely look. They don't look. They have almost. Like you see a lot of different like tats and such kind of around their neck. Some of them on their faces here and there. They're sort of giving you a little bit of a sense like you think you've seen them at some point, maybe scanning through some bounties, maybe scanning through some news, but you just can't place it exactly. Plus, it's just too dark, and they're kind of looking away from you, so you can't really get a good look at them.
Well, he just hunkers down in this vent, watching
Sounds
Clink,
good.
having a good time. Wait till they're past.
Callum, we'll come over to you. You have been sitting in the darkness of the med bay for a little while. Dr. Levi has been smoking up a storm. You see the occasional orange light of her cigarette. It kind of just gives you a little bit of light in here. And you hear the sounds of distant gunfire. What do you want to do?
Well, Doc, I think I've got a birthday party to go to. So, can we hurry this up?
Yeah, hang on. And it's hard to do. Hey, hold this. And she kind of just... Her own personal pad. It's like it's showing like no signal, but you're getting the light, and she's like, you can see the long ash of the cigarette. It's just growing and growing, just dropping down onto your like knee or something. She's like, all right, you're just gonna get shot again, and then come back here and make me do it. But I'll just charge you double next time. But most folks, when they hear gunfire, they hide in a corner. But yonder, young sir, yeah. So you're all stitched up.
Next time I'll give you a tip.
So you're all stitched up. So the doors that kind of come in here, they're supposed to be automated, but when you go up to them, they don't automatically open. But you can easily kind of put your fingers in and just sort of kind of peel them out. You hear now as you open the door, that gunfire is no longer muted. You hear the sounds of people screaming. It's dark out here. You hear the sounds of footsteps as people are running past you. You look off to the left, lights here and there, and there's a couple folks that are trying to access the lift, like the actual central lift that might take them to one of the docking ring, take them up and out to one of the docking rings, and it's not opening. You look off to the right, goes back towards the promenade. What would you like to do?
I'd be heading towards the bar, since I knew that's where
Okay. So you...
most of those would be.
Yeah, you hang a right. Take a couple steps. Some people are running past you, like pushing past you. Like you seem to be the only one walking in this direction. And when you get out into the promenade, you look around, roll an observation test.
I'd already have my gun out, by the way.
Okay.
That's a 6.
Okay. You look around, you're looking for the signs of Freddy or Gwen. It's just not nearly enough light in here. It's bits and pieces, but you can't really see anybody. You do notice, however, up on the second story, like the second level balcony, you can see a handful of folks suddenly emerge on top of it. And you watch as one of them is like lifting up a sack and just throws it over the balcony, and it goes landing splat in the middle of like where all of the tables and chairs are. And people just start screaming, Freddy, Gwen, you're there. And you see a body has just been dropped. It is the very constable figure that Elvis saw get shot through the vent and is now laying on the ground in front of you. And then you hear a voice come from up on the top. Ladies and gentlemen, do not be alarmed. Everyone, please come to the promenade quickly, quietly. If you're in one of the stores, come on out. No more people need to be hurt. Callum, Freddy, Gwen, you look up. You can see the figure. Go ahead and roll an observation test. We are doing Die Hard, Callum.
And I'm in the vents. How the hell
are in the
is
vents.
that?
You're in the vents. You're McLean. Oh, my God.
Yippee-ki-yay.
9.
Callum, Freddy, or Gwen, yeah. Anyone pass?
9.
2.
All of you passed? Okay.
Yeah.
All of you, now, as there's a little bit of light, as you look up, they're looking and they're speaking down towards you. All of you can feel like a little sort of bit of your heart just kind of sink down a little bit deep, as it is not the McGregors. It is not the Bennetts. But you see the daughter of one of the other major crime families that function around the rim, the Wei Chens. And she is standing there looking down at you. She's got a gun in one hand, and she's got all sorts of groups of people that like these hulking figures behind her. As she speaks down, now, everyone to the promenade. No one else needs to get hurt. You're not here to harm any of you. We have something that we need to retrieve from Isharon Core. And as long as none of you interfere with that, well, all of you can wake up tomorrow and in the safety of whatever beds you're calling comfort. But if any of you try to interfere at all, well, you'll be like that constable down there. You'll be dead. You hear people starting to mumble. Some are like, and you see a couple of people start running, and you hear the sounds of gunfire starts erupting. It's closing on the ground floor now. You see more of these groups of these kind of like mobs of Wei Chen folk are starting to just kind of corral folks into the promenade at this point. What would any of you like to do? Elvis, at this point, you see the vent is clear. You can see that they drag the body away. And so the vent is like right below you. They're no longer standing there. So
He sticks his head a little out of the vent to try to get a better idea what's going on out there.
Mm-hmm. You see probably about 30 feet away from you. You can see you're kind of at profile to them. The group that was standing at the top of the balcony are looking down on the promenade. She's giving this little speech. There is a massive hulking figure standing behind her. I'll roll, since everyone else got it right, I'll just assume at this point, now that you have a little better light, a little better vision, their faces are kind of turned, you're able to recognize the Wei Chens, one of the other major crime families in the Rim that have had run-ins with the Bennetts and the McGregors here and there. You recognize Hu, which is the woman. You recognize Han, which is her brother. Han is known for being... He is a violent man who, but not one who necessarily is not like demented in the way that Edgar Bennett is, but he is kind of a pit fighter and definitely enjoys the sort of a legal fighting ring circuit kind of deal. He's got a reputation about him. And you know that the daughter, the woman who's speaking, is kind of the brains of the family, and she is here. Then neither of them are the heads of the family, of course, but like they are nonetheless siblings, like of the major family.
Elvis pulls his head back up. He's like, "All right, now. So Rocky's probably better off in his cell right now. So we'll table Plan A, and we'll go to Plan Z. I think we're gonna have to bypass the whole alphabet. We're going to Z. Can I get away from them and towards the docking rings in the vent system?"
Absolutely. You can certainly try. Go ahead and roll a savvy test, as you're trying to navigate the circuitous vent system is basically what you're at.
If anyone can do it, it's Elvis.
Yeah, I got 8 on the die, so a 10 in total.
Perfect. So yeah, you it's going to take you a little bit of time to get there, but you're not getting any resistance as you're kind of climbing, crawling through these vents. Periodically, you're hearing the sounds of more gunfire, more shouting. They're all over the station, as far as you can tell. And even when you pass out of like the promenade range, you get near some of what are like the hostels, hotels, motels, things like that. You're hearing the sounds of other people. You're hearing the sounds of people kind of whimpering and hiding and stuff here and there. But you're working your way towards the room. It should take you a little while, but you'll get there.
He's thinking to himself. He's like, now, how do I engage the manual releases on the docking clamps? I know that the process is in there. I just got to think about it. Because if I bust all the ships loose from the station and then get in the Belafonte, I'll just signal for reinforcements and nobody can get off the station. It'll take a little bit of time, but what the hell? What else am I going to do with my day?
So I like how, by the way, this was not intentionally done, that both times, both major like situations, Elvis is by himself. Not the intention. Freddie, Callum, Gwen, you're noticing they're kind of herding a bunch of people. Others have, you can tell, are kind of holding wounds. Callum, you notice as the doctor has gotten taken out of her med bay. And Gwen, you hear the voice of your husband, Wesley Ruck, come up behind you and say, "I was so very worried, Gwendolyn. You put me in such a state. So glad you're okay." You look at him and he's standing right behind you, like just a couple feet away.
And if Freddie's nearby, she witnesses like an immediate change in Gwen, and she's more trembling, and she's just like, "I'm sorry, husband."
Now, that's better. Now, let's just sit down and wait. These people have their things to do, and as long as we don't cause any trouble, I am sure everything will just be fine. And if not, well, I'm sure I can negotiate with whichever one of these cretins is in charge. Money has a way of convincing people to do anything. Now, sit down, Gwen, and tell me a little bit about what you've been doing these past few months. I'm very curious to hear.
Just exploring space.
Exploring space. How adorable. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, your mother, not that you have tried to contact her, is doing just fine, by the way. I've made sure that she has not the best of support, but fair enough at least. Maybe when this whole thing is over, you and I can go visit her. I'm sure she would love to see you. She's been asking about you every time I go to visit. And I've been going to visit often.
Oh. Whatever is best.
Yes. Well, who knows best then, Gwendolyn? Who is it who knows best?
You.
Yes, I do. Good. And so, Freddie, you watch as he sits down.
Mm-hmm.
Gwendolyn sits down with him. Suddenly, this absolute change to her character.
And she's silently crying, but she's there.
And
How crowded is this promenade? Is it like shoulder to shoulder people, or is it?
not quite that crowded. I would say there's probably about once everyone kind of gets herded in, there's maybe about 30 people here or so, maybe a little more. Now that some of the guards, and you notice too that some of these Wei Chen operatives are coming around and they're taking weapons, one after the other, taking weapons. Some people are fighting. Some, but you can see suddenly one of the long haul truckers gets decked, or someone takes the sort of the side of one of the Uzis and smacks him across the side of the face. Others who are a little bit more troublesome kind of get knocked down to the ground and then beaten some more. But most people are just kind of giving it up, kind of doing whatever. But Freddie, as you're looking around, though, your observation, it's all in the details. You notice that this guy who's speaking to Gwen has his goons around. One of them who is wiping the oil off his clothes at this point, but you don't notice the other one. The kind of shot Gwen. You're looking around, and he seems to somehow have sort of disappeared into the chaos.
Does Freddie see Callum? Like, if we made eye contact and know that we're kind of...
I'll say at this point, as
together?
everyone's getting herded, yes, like you guys are all within eye shot of one another. Freddie, Callum, Gwen.
Callum would be making his way over.
Okay.
Maybe sees what's happening again, trying to get behind Wesley.
Okay. So you see that, and you're trying to get behind Wesley, like trying to sneak up behind him.
Well, to behind or to the side.
Okay.
The gun
okay.
has intimidation on it, so intimidation.
Okay. Go ahead and roll savvy.
That is 9.
Okay. You get within about 5 feet, and you see one of these fellas is in like a leisure suit. It's the most absurd thing. It's got this kind of pastel coloring shirt. The collar is up and out and over the collar of the jacket. Without even like really blinking, just suddenly pulls from inside their suit, pulls a gun out, kind of points it in your direction. You're a couple feet away still, and they say, "That's close enough, sir." Right at your face, and you're a few feet away.
Shoot the gun out of his hand.
Okay. Let's go ahead and do...
Oh God.
Shit got real.
Oh.
Okay. So...
Threatening a friend.
I'll tell you what. Go ahead and roll initiative. And then...
What's the initiative again?
It's
D3.
D3
plus
savvy.
Yeah. That's 3.
Oh, sorry. I should roll 2 of these. Drop the low. Drop the higher. Plus savvy. Sorry, there. So you said 3? Okay, you do get the shot off first. They have it too. So roll your attack. And since you're specifically trying to shoot the gun out of his hands, do you have precision on the gun?
I know I've got devil's right hand.
Okay,
So
so then
it'll just
roll.
be normal, won't go below.
It's against the odds though. If you don't have precision,
Can't
on the
go against
gun.
the odds.
Oh, that's right. So like you can't go. So it'll just be normal.
Yeah.
Because you're a good shot.
And that is 8.
Okay. You pull the trigger of a gun in the middle of this crowded promenade while there are several Wei Chen crime operatives that are currently going around and are de-weaponing people. You shot the gun out of his hand. And now what basically is going to happen is that all 3 of these goons are going to leap towards Callum. Actually, no. 2 of them will leap towards Callum. One of them will basically cover Wesley, like in sort of this protective umbrella. Gwen, you watch this happen in front of you. Freddie, you watch this happen in front of you. But as the gunshot goes out, you hear the sounds of these various like Wei Chen operatives are kind of shouting towards one another. And like there's gunfire kind of going up in the air as they're trying to clear a path towards Callum.
Una would know what I would be doing. She wouldn't be surprised by this.
Okay.
Mm.
That's you,
I'm
Freddie.
not sure that I know what is to do next, but in my character.
Oh, but you would know how I would react.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is
The other 2 lunge at Callum. So this is a mob basically. So in Orbital Blue's kind of parlance, there's basically 3 different kinds of NPCs. There's mobs, which are kind of just groups of individuals, like you almost like a swarm in a way. And then there's goons, which is kind of what Walter is, which is somebody who has stats, but they're not like the greatest at anything. They don't have any gambits or anything like that. And then there's marks, and marks are people who are kind of like PCs. They have noticeable stats. They can have very good stats, and they might be able to actually have gambits and things like that. And they're used as like recurring characters that might come back. These are just mobs. But the mob rule specifically is that they all kind of go on the same initiative. So even though there's 3 of them, they're not getting 3 different attacks. They all kind of do one single attack. So they're both going to lunge at you.
From about 5 feet away.
Yeah, they're going to lunge at you. 5 feet's close enough for them to get to you in an initiative turn. So they're going to roll, and they're coming at you as like you can see they kind of pull these, but like these kind of sticks out of their, like these baton sticks out of them, since you shot away one of his guns. Okay, but they will roll extraordinarily poorly, as that'll be a total of 6 as they come at you. But you manage to you hold your forearm up, you feel the baton, kind of the stun baton just crash against your forearm. The other one kind of swings down at your legs, but doesn't quite, they don't quite make it. You step a little bit to the side, and he doesn't quite miss. And now there's a scuffle. Freddy, what do you want to do? Before the Wei-Chins do something,
Freddy,
what would you like to do, Freddy?
Going to need to join into the scuffle.
Okay.
At this point. So melee weapons, so just for combat initiative, melee weapons are considered faster than guns, so the initiative roll is an upper hand. So I got a 3 + 2 is a 5 for my initiative.
Okay. That'll happen on the next one. This is all kind of happening, like, because I always find, like, the transition into initiative, I don't like to be like, Callum just said what he wanted to do, so we're starting with Callum, but, like, on the second round, we'll go with that.
Sure.
But you can just take an action.
So what I want to do is I want to come...
I just got the vision of Freddie sticking her chef knife in Wesley Rook's ear. Flashback.
Just like a Hunter game.
Yes. So Wesley is being covered at the moment. So what Freddie wants to do with her knife is she wants to go after like the Achilles of the guy that Callum just shot.
Okay. Are you going after the Achilles for flavor, or are you actually calling the shot on it?
Flavor.
Okay. All right.
That's
then
kind
fine.
of where I'm angling.
Okay. Yeah,
Yep.
Gotcha. Because like there is like a precision tag
Yeah,
to a trait to
yeah.
weapons that that takes away against the odds. Okay, so roll your attack, roll muscle.
Also
We'll
a
go from there.
0, just for everyone watching at home. And let's see. I've got a once per combat thing. I'll hold on to it. All right. That is an 8.
Okay, 8 is definitely good. What's the damage you do? Remember, you roll 3d6 and you take the higher.
Oh, that's right.
I
I forgot.
You make two dice have to hit 8 for you to hit, and then the third dice is your damage.
All right. Sorry, I rolled the third dice. That is 8. What was the minimum I needed to hit? With 7.
8 is always to hit. Yeah, they don't have any
8.
armor, so
Okay.
it's just 8.
5.
You did 5 points of damage.
Yep.
Okay. So the way mobs work is that when you do 4+ damage to a mob, you reduce the mob's size by 1. So effectively, Freddy, you slash down at the Achilles. Their leg just goes, like the foot just goes limp, and he screams out in pain. And he does another one of those almost comical slip fall, but this time he's writhing around in total agony as you just cut through his Achilles, and he's screaming in pain. It's at this point you all of you see that the Wei-Chins are muscling through. Gunshots are going up in the air. People are getting pushed off to the side, and they're kind of shouting at you because like you guys are in the center of this promenade where all this is happening. Gwen, you haven't gone yet, so I want to give you an opportunity to go, and then I'm going to give Wesley an opportunity to do something as well.
Gwen's gonna try and just work her way through the crowd to get as far away as possible.
Okay, so you want to try to escape, to flee?
Yeah, but not like where I'm gonna get shot by the Wei-Chins, but like get away from Wesley.
So there's not necessarily any particular way you can guarantee not getting shot by the people who are currently taking over the station, but you can certainly try to stealthily move away. And we'll see whether or not that is successful for you.
Okay.
So roll savvy. And again, if you have any gambits or if you think there's anything situationally that would give you upper hand or something, just call it out. Like, I'm not always going to think of it, so you're always welcome to make the argument.
Oh my god. I need to spend heart.
That's also your health, so when they do inevitably shoot you, just remember that all that exertion is the reason you're dead.
Well, I mean, I did take 4 from the dart gun, so...
Yeah, but that was non-lethal. The Wei-Chens are not firing non-lethal guns.
I still need to do it.
No, go right ahead.
What does that leave you for heart?
2. I rolled 2 ones.
But you'll only die if you roll then under your blues. Otherwise, you'll come back to life anyway.
7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay. So you got your 10, you sneak off. So it'll be contested against, like, they're going to try to look for you, obviously, on their observation, but they don't get to add anything to their observation. Okay, then Wesley will kind of shove his protector off of him, and he'll see that you're gone. Gwendolyn, where have you gone? Gwendolyn! And he's looking around for you, so I'm just going to have him spend his turn looking for you with his observation. I rolled snake eyes, so he does not.
I'm playing to my blues. She runs.
So he is panicking. Oh, my dear. Oh, my sweet Gwendolyn, where are you? Where are you? Oh, goodness. You cretins. And he's kind of pointing out in the directions of the Wei-Chens. I want to talk to your supervisor right now. Who's in charge here? Who's in charge? And then the Wei-Chens are going to come up at this point. They're going to look at the ground where there's a man kind of writhing. Blood is beginning to pour out of his leg. He sees Wesley kind of like screaming at this time. And there's another mob group is coming up. So there's a group of these Wei-Chens, a little bit bigger. These actually have there's 5 of them that are now coming in. And they're sort of spreading out. They see the knife in Freddy's hand. They see the body on the ground, the blood on the ground. Callum, you're wrestling with one of the other ones still, and the two of you kind of look, and you can see they're kind of getting pushed aside as one of these big old guys just comes between the two of you and just kind of pushes you off. Another one reaches out towards Freddy, looks at the knife, and they put their hand out. Their hand's out, open palm towards you. And then with their other hand, they hold the Uzi up to your face.
Knife gets handed over.
You take it from
What's
you.
the chance of me knowing the
little
daughter?
Twirl and a flourish, but it does get handed over.
I would say anyone might know the daughter by reputation. The chance of you knowing,
having met.
I'll tell you what. Roll, you can do this in Foundry. I'll say I'll give you a 30% chance. So roll a D100, and if you get 30 or under, we'll say you have met her. You have met who?
Hold on.
Which and who?
D100. There we go. Nah.
No. You certainly know her by reputation. You've never had the McGrickers and the Wei-Chens and the Bennetts, and there's relationships here and there, but there have been very salty relationships recently. Things have not been going well, as the whole Outer Rim it definitely feels like, even though it's been peacetime for the last few years, we're kind of getting to that point where the feeling is, as the younger generations are starting to kind of take over or try to pull the reins things are going to get a little testy. Okay, so Freddy, you hand over the knife. The guy he looks down at the guy writhing around. He looks up at you. He looks at the knife, and then he just goes and just shoots the guy on the ground, and he's just laying there. Callum, you're kind of separated from the other guy. What do you want to do in this situation?
Callum would have his gun on his finger, so with the handle pointing out the way.
Okay.
And if the guy takes it, ask for a receipt.
So he grabs that, and he asks for a receipt, and he just chuckles. You see him chuckle.
Smile as well.
Sure, you'll get receipt. You'll get receipt.
Cheers, pal.
and kind of takes your gun away, pushes the other guy kind of down to the ground on top of the now dead Achilles tendon cut man, and kind of goes through his jacket. You see he pulls out a baton, pulls out what looks like a 9mm pistol, and they're just going through and getting everyone's weapons. Gwen, you rolled a 10 on your observation. Now
on my stealth savvy.
on your savvy, excuse me.
Yeah.
And then Wesley rolls a snake eyes and he's panicking because he can't find you, and he's calling out for these gangsters' supervisor. And then let's see if any of the Wei Chens see you. That's a much better roll, but unfortunately it is not a 10. 9 is very good, but you're 10. You slip away.
Thank God.
You do,
Yay.
in fact, slip away. Not only that, you slip out from the promenade, you slip back into one of these emptied storefronts. Okay, so everyone's been funneled out, and you slip right back in. And no one sees it. Everything that was happening in the middle of the promenade, Wesley shouting, guns going off, Freddy cutting somebody, Callum shooting the gun out of the guy's hand, all of that caused enough of a distraction for you to get away. What do you want to do, Gwen?
I'd have to obviously leave the storefront to be able to go to the where the ship is located.
Roll an observation check.
Observations flat. I just got a 7.
Okay. You have no idea how to get there, but you do see. I mean, like, they're not hidden, but you do see that there are vents in the room, like just basic environmental vents. You have no idea the layout, how circuitous it might be. It's just not your thing, but maybe.
She's gonna try. Yeah, she's desperate. So
climb into one of these vents. We'll cut over to our other vent. Our vent monkey.
I am racking up blues today. Let me just tell you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Elvis, so you've been climbing for a bit. You no longer hear the sounds of gunfire, and you're gonna come up to what looks like. So let me try to describe the station again. There's kind of the tower in the center, and there's like the ring kind of goes around it, and then there's these spokes like that kind of go out towards the ring. And so you reach over towards. You kind of get to the far extent as you could in the tower. You find an open vent. You look down, and you see one of those open shafts, those doorways that once kind of the airlocks open up, you can follow down and take one of those spokes out towards the ring. You don't see anyone guarding it. And then as you look around, you don't see anyone here. Like, there's no obvious signs of anyone guarding the door that would take you through one of those spokes to get to the ring.
And Elvis is thinking about. He's like, there was that time that I was in the Camp 14 Orbital Correction Facility, and I was having to make my way out to do something just like this. I think if I get down in that scope, I know where those mechanical decouplers are going to be for those ships. I think I can get this to work. It worked last time. Maybe a slightly different configuration, but stop thinking so much, Elvis, and just get to the doing. So he starts to move the way into the spoke.
Okay, so roll a savvy test, because there's no power. These airlocks are powered, and so you're just trying to figure out a way to manipulate this door open without it being under power. The normal kind of interface pad.
There's definitely this. I got to take this pad off, and there's going to be a manual release back there, because I mean you got to have a manual release for an airlock. It's a safety feature.
It's a corporate station. You can't possibly not have that here.
You can't possibly not have that here. I got an 8 on the die. But 10 in total.
Cutting corners.
10 on the die. Very quickly.
10 in total.
10 in total. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we say 10 on the die, by the way, everyone, we know we're rolling. We're just saying that's the natural total. It's only d6s in the game. You roll anywhere between 2d6 and 4d6 for like every check in this game. So you kind of slide, one of your tools behind, maybe a knife, maybe a screwdriver, whatever it is. Pop the panel off, and you peel back some of the circuitry and you reach behind, you're feeling around, and all of a sudden your hand grasps right on top of the manual release. You pull and you hear, and so a little bit opens up, and you're able to put your hands in and kind of just put a little muscle into it, and you're able to push it open. And you can see there's now this long tunnel. There's essentially viewing windows on either side. There's the ground down the middle. You can tell there's also, much like an airport, there are these like kind of escalator paths, these walkway paths to accelerate cargo that's kind of moving from the docking ring interior, but those aren't functioning. There's no power here either. There's no running lights at all. The only lights you're seeing are like it's kind of starlight and what looks like lights on various ships that are kind of docked and coupled here and there. But otherwise, it's a very dark path. You've got your own. You don't see anyone in here. You got to push and you move through. No issues at all getting to the other side. And you have to do the same thing at the other end, which you don't have to roll again. You know how to do it. Door opens up, and you see once more just darkness in front of you as you have reached the docking ring.
And he looks carefully both directions to see if there's any guards floating in the immediate vicinity of where he comes out.
Okay. Oh, I should also say one other thing. Once you open the door, you feel that the gravity has been messed with in the docking ring. As you suddenly go you just go weightless a little bit. You just sort of lift up off the ground. But roll that observation check as you look around.
This is going to be fantastic. I can move much faster at 0G. That's a 6. So I will spend 1 heart to re-roll the 1 die. That's better. An 11.
Okay. You don't initially see anyone either direction on the curve, but you hear something. You hear, and then suddenly off to your right, you see what looks like a shadow from light is being cast along one of the walls. You see what looks like one of the docking, like the interior docking airlock. You know that you have to go through that. You get to another one, and then eventually it'll be coupled into a ship. You can see there's a group of people that have now reached that, but they look just like more of those Wei Chen folks that are there. But they also have mag boots as they're moving about. And you can see there's just debris. There's cargo that's been unmoored and started to kind of just sort of go weightless here as well. Off to the left, it seems dark. You don't see anything necessarily.
So when I'm observing what they're doing, being a security expert, does it look like they're decoupling the ships from the ring?
With an observation, you rolled pretty well at observation. You see that they are actually opening, like they open up the airlock, the interior airlock on the ring, and you can see they go inside. They are carrying something. Like you're seeing that they're carrying like equipment with them. And if you sit around and you wait for a moment, like for a few minutes, and you just kind of spy them for a bit, or kind of float up and hide behind some large chunk of cargo as you're just kind of peeking down, you see that as they go through one of those airlocks, they're gone for 5 or 10 minutes. They come back out, and they do not have like that sort of package anymore. Then you look off and you see that one of them has what looks like some kind of like conveyor that they've been pushing along that has all these different packages. So like they're almost delivering something to each airlock.
I say that cannot be very good for us. Now, is the Belafonte in the direction they're coming from, or is it the opposite direction?
Pick high or low, and then roll a D100 or something.
Let's go high.
Okay.
And let's see what we can get here.
High, it's to the left and away from them. That's the good way, and then.
No, that's bad.
Yeah,
that's so bad.
You have to go through them. Now, it is a ring, so eventually you can get all the way around, but that does mean you have to go all the way around.
So what Elvis will do is he's gonna jettison himself up to the ceiling.
Okay.
And then he is going to quick crawl along the ceiling until he is no longer in visible range of them. And he's going to go to the first docking airlock that he can find past them, and he's going to try to break onto whatever ship is docked there.
Okay, so you're trying to bypass them, right? You're going past
No.
them, trying to. Are you
No, I'm going the
stealthing past?
opposite direction.
Okay.
I'm going the opposite direction.
Okay.
He just wants to. I want to get out of sight of them.
Okay.
Put a couple 100 yards,
Sure.
maybe 3 or 4 docking bays past them, and then try to break onto a ship.
So if they're at like the 1 o'clock dock, you're gonna go to like the 10 o'clock or something, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm following. Since you're going the opposite direction, you don't have to worry about rolling the stealth for savvy. So you kind of push through. It gets dark again. You got your night vision goggles. You kind of toggled on, so it's a lot easier for you to move. Eventually, you do come to, we'll say, like the 3rd airlock away from them or so.
And I'm checking through the windows. I'm looking at these ships as I'm going by. So I'm looking for something that, either like a bounty hunter ship or something maneuverable, something that I can make some use of.
Okay.
Or better yet, the Wing Chun ship.
Okay. So you find a ship, and you look out, and you look out the sort of viewing port. You can see. I'm treating it almost like an airport terminal, how you can kind of look out and you can see the ship eventually. So I don't know if that's accurate, but that's what we're going with. But you see a pretty nice looking ship out there. Much better quality than the old the Belafonte. Looks to be well kept. It looks to be in kind of high end, definitely newer model. I won't make you re-roll again to do you already know how to do the sort of bypass. So you do that. You don't. It looks like they haven't got here yet. From what you would be able to conclude, they're kind of sweeping around and they just haven't gotten to this one yet. And so you're able to sort of kind of sneak in first. Now, what I will have you roll is, now you're trying to get onto someone's ship. They have their own security measures. Now you're going to have to roll to get onto that.
So Jethro, he's already doing hack, and he's thinking to himself, yeah, I could definitely get into this ship and then get it going, but I've got to make sure that my biodent reads back to Jethro Lipowitz. That's the idea I've got to use for that, because that Warren guy was a complete tool.
Jethro.
Yeah, I'm good. I got a 14. Well, because I get to roll with the
upper hand.
With the upper hand. So
Gotcha.
I dropped the lower, and I got a 14 in total.
Okay, you get onto the ship. Airlock closes behind you. It is just as nice on the inside as on the outside. This is it's like a VIP shuttle of some kind. Like, you can tell, like, this is some fancy stuff. You don't see Isharon branding, though. It's not an enormous ship. It's certainly not as big as like your hunk of junk with the Belafonte, but everything is well maintained, well kept. You hear voices. You hear them, but they're not talking about you. You can hear some panic voices, and you're like, you see, hello, Mr. Rook, hello. Yeah, I can't get him. He's just not answering his comms. I'm just getting feedback.
Now, does Elvis put 2 and 2 together about would he recognize Mr. Rook?
That's up to
name?
Gwen.
Gwen has
how
told
much would you?
Elvis and Nikki his full name.
Okay, so you absolutely would.
Okay, so he just walks into the cockpit then. Hey, Mr. Rook sent me.
They turn around, they look at you, and they're like, "What? Who are you?"
I'm an associate of Gwen's. They're back together again, but the whole station's been taken over by the Wing Chun. The Wei Chins, that is. The Wei Chins.
No, I think that's what Elvis says. That's what Elvis. Oh goodness. I'll tell you what. Roll a savvy, but you can take upper hand with this as you drop some names.
Okay, so a 5 and a 3 is 8, so 10 in total.
And they're like, their eyes gonna go wide. The Wei Chins are
It's
here?
gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Now I need security override for the shuttle, and I need you to everybody needs to get in vac suits right away.
Okay.
We've got to do a rescue mission. Hurry, come on, get the vac suits out.
Okay.
Give me security override for the ship.
And he calls out 82654, and then he kind of
Give
goes
me a vac
off.
suit up here.
Okay, calm down, man, calm down. Hey, where's he at? Where's Mr. Rook?
We are
Who are the rest of the guys?
going to rescue him. They're on the promenade, but I've got a plan. He sent me here to get the shuttle. I got a plan. Give me a vac suit.
Okay, Mr. Okay, and so they go off, come back, and we'll say they're gone for maybe 5 minutes at most. Is there anything you're doing while they step out? Of the bridge?
I'm totally hacking into the ship's system.
Okay.
And I am putting the my bio-ident in as Jethro. And I'm trying to use the ship's sensors to locate the Wei Chen's ship along the docking ring.
Okay. So I'll say go ahead and roll savvy for all of that. It's fine.
Ooh, I'm going to spend a heart to re-roll one die. An 11 in total.
Okay. You do not pick up any... Like, as you're looking around, like, you're able to do the indent just fine. No problem. Poor Jethro. But you don't notice any Wei Chen ships that are docked. You do, however, pick up 2 ships that are in sort of close proximity of the station, but they are not docked to the ring. And they are kind of flagging kind of a similar ident that you would expect from Wei Chen.
Are they like attack ships, frigates?
One of them seems to be more of a kind of shuttle, and the second one does definitely have significant weaponry on it.
This is fantastic. Hey, the escape pods on this thing, right?
For Mr. Rook there is, yes. And yeah. For Mrs. Rook.
Yeah, absolutely. Get in those.
No,
No, you're not going to escape. I know, they're for them. But this is part of the plan. Listen, you got to react fast to this here. Get in the escape pods.
Okay. And so you can see the couple of guys are like kind of looking at each other.
Hustle. I got to get my vac suit on. We got to be ready to go as soon as I'm in.
Are you coming in too?
No, you're going in. I'm taking the ship. We're going to meet back around the other side, but you got to take the escape pods. They got to see the escape pods come out. Then they're going to think people are trying to escape. That's going to give me my window to get to Mr. Rook and Mrs. Rook.
Okay, so then they're strapping in to the escape pods. They're like, but wait, if they see us try to escape, aren't they going to shoot it? And then within just like seconds, all of a sudden, as the escape pods get shot down.
That's unfortunate for them. So what Elvis is going to do is he's going to fire up the main engines of this luxury shuttle, and he is going to plot a intercept course with the Wing Chung's primary battleship, and then he is going to remote access it from his comms, and he is going to spacewalk back to the ring, and he is going to then ignite the engines and use it as a giant torpedo against the Wei Chung ship.
Okay. There's a lot of steps into there. Whether that works out the way you think it doesn't, I think what you can control is you could set the autopilot, autopilot, and you can hop out and do the thing. Absolutely. All of that, I think, can be done.
Just going to try to missile it.
So, yeah, you try to missile it. That's perfectly fine. So we see a little montage of Elvis putting the suit on. He's layering out the, he's kind of inputting all the commands and such. And then you see him kind of get into the airlock. You hop out of the airlock as the ship starts detaching, decoupling from the ring, and starts piloting out, and you're spacewalking back.
He's like, and thank God, Rocky, that fella that I'm going to get out of there, he's the guy who actually, if you all remember from episode 1, he's the guy who actually taught me how to use a vac suit. Oh, God bless Rocky.
So let's go back to the promenade where Freddie and Callum are now.
You mean the place that Elvis just left on a ship and isn't with anymore?
Well, no, he's coming back. He's coming back.
So he says.
He is. I mean, he's floating in space right now as he's spacewalking back to the station.
He's coming back to the station. Well, he's going to come back to another ship at least.
Yeah.
Whether he comes back to the station or not, who knows?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair, too. Lords and Ladies of Fate, thank you very much for the raid. We are playing some Orbital Blues tonight. Space Western nonsense. There was currently a Die Hard situation going on Cisco Station. Elvis Coltrane is playing the role of John McClane, and
Who's
then
barefoot?
Yay.
So Elvis is barefoot.
yeah,
Well,
I think Elvis. Yeah, and then Gwen. I think at this point we'll call you. You'll be Mr. Winslow out in the parking lot because you're free too. But Freddie and Callum, well, one of you is.
I'm Holly.
You're Holly. Well, Freddie, I feel bad for you because you know who that makes you.
Yes, I do.
Hans, Bobby. I had a friend when I was going to college. Looks exactly like that guy. Looks exactly like that guy. And that used to be like his like profile pic on everything. He would used to send that stuff in all the time. Okay, we're back in the promenade now, where Freddie and Callum now are here along with Wesley, and you do not see Gwen any longer. You've gotten stripped of your weapons. If you have anything concealable, by the way, you could try to conceal it. Don't forget that there is a concealable weapon tag. Callum, yours was, I would say, whatever you had out, the gun and the knife, that's
Mine
out.
was intimidating. That's not.
Okay,
Yeah,
but if there's
same thing
anything
with
else,
Freddie,
you could try.
her knife was concealable, except when it's out and slicing someone's Achilles, it is no longer concealed.
You did a very good job of it, though. So what would the two of you be doing at this point? I know, complicated situation, but what would you like to try to do?
First, make my way over to Freddy.
And I think Freddie is just scratching her head because Gwen was there and then Gwen wasn't there. And so like, there's sort of just that.
I do think you did notice, though, that Gwen was just frantically running.
Do I need to roll to see if I noticed? Because I was a little busy being.
I'll say you saw her dip away from the table for sure. If you want to see which shop she dipped into, go ahead and roll observation.
Okay. It's all in the details. Upper hands. That is a 13.
Okay. You saw Gwen dip into a consignment shop, to kind of like a resale general store. It's essentially just a bunch of, useful travel items people resell here and there. It's the equivalent. It's like the equivalent of a general store. You saw her dip into that.
Okay. So would Freddie be able to whisper to Callum without being overheard? Like if we kind of back ourselves away?
Once they took the weapons away for you, you can see this mob of Wei Chen operatives start kind of moving around, and you can tell that there's a couple up on the balcony. You don't see the speaker anymore. She's gone. Like who?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't see the large brother who you would know as like the fighter. That's Han. You don't see either of them anymore. You just see like basically they're foot soldiers, right? Kind of all around here. You can tell that there's gotta be at least 8 maybe that you can see easily. You're not sure if a couple others might be hiding, but a couple of them are up on the balcony kind of looking down, and a few of them are just sort of surrounding the promenade area here, and they're all just kind of watching. And occasionally they're kind of getting up in someone's face or something like that. It's a hostage situation, essentially. You guys are kind of being held hostage here.
Yep.
So it doesn't mean you can't try to do something, though. You're heroes.
Freddie is going to whisper to Callum and just definitely without pointing. She's just going to whisper. So I saw Gwen go out that way to that empty office space or the shop space. Thinking if we want to sneak out, maybe we sneak out the other direction. So if anybody does see us, if they knew we were together, they don't think we all went the same way. What do you think?
Sounds good. Where's Nikki? Elvis?
Nikki,
Freddie, you know that Nikki got dragged away towards the brig at some point.
Yeah.
You don't know where Elvis was, I would say.
Yeah. Nikki's in.
Probably stealing a ship.
That's a safe bet. I have
Using
no
it as a
idea where
whistle.
he was.
So we going separate ways? Or
Probably.
should I make a commotion and you can escape?
I think we should
Either or.
both try to get out. Wouldn't want to leave you here, but not both at the same time, probably.
You go first then. I'll keep an eye.
All right, Freddie wants to see if she can sneak out.
Okay. Callum, are you going to make a distraction for her and give her, upper hand, or are you guys both sneaking and kind of going in different directions?
I'll give a distraction.
Okay, describe your distraction. What would Callum be doing?
Where's Wesley?
Wesley is at the table, and you can see he's got what looks like the two surviving people. One of the guys who you shot the gun out. The other one was like his personal umbrella, and then there's the third guy on the ground who's dead. But he is basically being held in place. Each of them have a hand on their shoulder, and they're trying to calm him down as he's screaming out, I want to see your supervisor. Who's in charge here? I am sure we can work something out. Come, do you know who I am? And he's just kind of calling out, and they're like, Sir, we need you to be quiet. Doesn't look like they want to hurt us. Maybe don't give them reason to.
Oh, Bobag. Wesley.
Yes, what? Yes, you know my Gwendolyn. I saw it in your eyes. I saw it in your eyes. Where is she?
Seriously, mate, you need to give it up.
No.
Well, wait, Chains.
What?
This guy's got some bounties out on you.
What? And you see one of them kind of looks over, kind of hears you kind of shout out, and you kind of point over towards Wesley. And then, what? No, bounties. Goodness, no.
This rich fucker.
Excuse me. My name is Wesley Rook of Rook Industries. Excuse me. Yes, please. And you can see like one of the Wei Chen officers like kind of walking up towards him here and there. And it's like, yes. Finally, someone could talk to me. Now listen, I am sure that whoever it is that you people are working for is very important, but I can assure you am far more important. And the guy just punches him right in the face. And you can kind of tell at a moment, like his guards are kind of like, oh, they lean back at just the right time. They see they're just doing their job. They kind of lean back. The guy gets put. How
Gwen says hi,
mate. Freddie, go ahead and make your savvy stealth roll to get out of here. Take upper hand for Callum's wonderful theatrics.
That was a great distraction. And how's my roll? Upper hand. That is a 12.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm going to roll their observation against the odds to sort of couple with this. So we'll throw up that. 7. That's a fail. You slip into the consignment shop. When you get in there, you notice there is a vent that is dislodged. It looks like it was like taken off and then hastily put on from the inside. So you can see it's not like anchored in properly. But you don't see Gwen at all. But you can put 2 and 2 together. She's probably in the vents.
All right, Freddie will find something to hoist yourself up.
So you hoist yourself up. You head into the vent. We're gonna go back to Callum really quick as like the Wei Chen guy kind of roughs him up a little bit, and he's bleeding, and he's like, oh goodness, this is just, oh God, I hate the rim. Oh, I hate it here. I'm going back in. And he kind of points up at you. Are you her new boy? Are you her new boy? And he kind of spits blood. Oh, yes. I know her last boy. Shall I tell you what I did to him? Shall I tell you what I'll do to you? I have him.
You watch them? Because that seems like the sort of thing you'd do.
Oh,
you sick bastard.
I saw their little lovey-dovey eyes.
Yes, I'm sure you did, pal.
Well, don't worry. I have a cargo box ready for you, too. Because that's what I was going to show her.
Look, mate, I'm not interested. Yeah.
Oh, no. I'm going to tell you anyway.
Shame. You take your...
And he's pushing through, because Jeff wants to say something here. And he's pushing through, and he says, I have a cargo crate for you, too. There's already one on my ship, and one of her boy toys is all tied up inside. A nice big bow, in case she wouldn't come with. And there's going to be room for you, too, I guarantee.
No,
I'll tell you what, Wesley.
Go ahead.
I am going to break every finger that you have. And then I'm going to get my gun back and shove it so far back into your throat, you're going to shit out bullets. And then I'm going to swap you out with her boy toy because maybe she wants them back.
And so he is just like got this horrific look on his face. One of his tooths is, his teeth has come out. He's bleeding. He's got like he's definitely bruised. We cut and we see the interior of a kind of a cargo area on the Rook ship. And we see this cargo crate, much like the one you all stuffed Walter in. And you can see it shuffling, kind of moving back here and there. We cut then to the exterior of the ship as it is moving in the direction of the attack vessel of the Wei Chens. And all of a sudden, a massive just barrage of arsenal comes out from their ship. And we see, as I think I called it the Black Hammer maybe, the whole thing just explodes in this eruption and then quickly sucks back in because I guess no fire in space?
No fire in space.
And then we cut back to Gwen, who's crawling in the dark through the vents. And I think that's where we're going to go ahead and end for tonight. And we'll pick up next time with Steven, who's been stuck in the brig.
I almost was thinking to himself, I'm definitely going to have to change the trajectory on the next one of those ships because they really reacted quickly to that one.
Oh my god.
That's going to be so much more difficult than I thought. But that'll be all right as he's running on the outside of the docking ring.
Oh, fantastic. That was so great. I was so excited to do that once you sent them out as a missile. I'm like, I got to get this info out somehow. Oh, goodness.
No.
That's so much fun.
Gwen
Just remember, Ashley, it wasn't me who did it. It was all of us together.
It never is, does it?
No.
I specifically made Gwen a horribly, horribly sad person.
Yep.
Oh.
You played it great,
Gwen.
though. You played it great. That was a lot of fun. It's not over yet. He's not dead.
No.
We still have Die Hard to finish, and so next week will be the finale, and we will see one way or the other. Do they get off Cisco Station alive, or does the Wei Chen family live? And yeah. Okay.
Elvis flies off into the sunset regardless.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that is a fact. I mean, Wally and I are out of here because he's still on the Belafonte. Yeah. As soon as I can get comms to Wally, I'd be like, "Hey, Wally, just hold your horses until we get the opposite."
Another
side
5%.
Oh goodness, he's
It's
just
gonna be
racking up those
50-50
percentages.
now, probably.
If only he knew how to do arithmetic, he would be raking in the coin. All right, why don't we do some closing plugs and then we'll get out of here. Let's see. Mark, tell us about where we can find you other than you.
I'm Mark, Thule Kid on Twitter. Put some underscores in there. I'm one of the GMs over at TTRP Theatre. I run a City of Mist game every second week. Next weekend, just before this, we're on again. I forgot to find out what's coming up, but we've got, I think, Cult tomorrow night, and again on Tuesday. Other than that, I have no idea. Lots of things on there. You can check it out.
Link is in the chat. If you're watching this on YouTube later, check the show notes. You can see all the links for that. You can find out where to find Mark on Twitter, and you can find out where TTRP Theater is as well. Aaron, what about Garblag?
So over on Garblag Games on Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. in Great Britain, Ben will be doing the finale of his City of Mist game. The same times on Tuesday, Millie will be running some more Coriolis. Then on Wednesday, Dan will be doing the first actual episode of our Age of Sigmar Soulbound campaign. On Thursday, Lewis will be running an episode of The One Ring. There will not be a Garblag North America Achtung Cthulhu game this coming Thursday night, but the following Thursday, you can check out Jeff and I on a sponsored Achtung Cthulhu stream. Modiphius has reached out to Garblag Games and asked us to run 6 weeks of their Forced of Fear campaign as part of their Winter of Fear. And they've given us all kinds of giveaways, so check it out live on Garblag's Twitch TV channel and get some cool swag out of it, as well as watch a fun show. And then on Friday of this week, Lewis will be running a D&D 5th edition, I believe Sky Pirates themed one-shot or maybe two-shot.
Fantastic.
That's Garblag.
Yeah. And then for us here, let's see, Monday is our next game, Holler for Savage Worlds, Appalachian Apocalypse. Melissa and I are in that one. Next Friday, we'll be back to Mothership as we continue our Gradient Descent game. And then a week from today, you can see the finale of our Orbital Blues game. Maybe just season 1. I don't know. I kind of like it, so maybe we'll do a season 2 at some point. Whether it's with the same characters or not, we'll see what happens as our Die Hard adventure comes to its inevitable fiery conclusion, one way or the other. Melissa's dropping some links in the chat if you want to go buy some cool Orbital Blue stuff, some other stuff from Soul Muppet. Again, there's a couple new adventures that just dropped this past week over on their store. So take a look at it. But we're gonna go ahead and raid the boys from the Baltic Star. They're playing another one of my favorite games. We ran this a while back. Those Dark Places, really nice, like industrial sci-fi, rules light game. Really highly recommend it. We have a couple of those on our channel too. You can kind of look up on that. So we're gonna give them a raid. Follow the raid. Say hi. If you're watching this later, subscribe, follow, all that kind of stuff. But we'll see you. Have a good night. Bye bye.
Good night.
Cheers.